there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of Kit Conspiracy, which I'm combining today with Mixed Media Mayhem, where we're using distress, blending, and a cut file. I'm also combining it with the Iron Crafter Challenge, where we use an item that is picked or a recipe that is picked once a month. And the item for that was to use ribbon or trim. So it did call for distress in the Mixed Media Mayhem recipe, and I wasn't sure if they wanted distress ink or actual distressed edges, so I'm going to do a little bit of both. It did call for a cut file, so I'm using this camera cut file. I do not know where I got this. It's been in my cut file binder for probably 4 years, and I have no idea where it came from at this point. And so I am just using some picked raspberry and some milled lavender distress oxide ink to ink it up. I'm going to be doing a lot of pinks and purples on this particular layout. The photos lend themselves very well to pinks and purples because we are at Baskin Robbins having ice cream. Not my first go around documenting Baskin Robbins ice cream, but these photos are older. These are like, I think from 2023, whereas the photos that I did earlier in the week were from 2025, and a completely different occasion. I've already actually documented this one in one of the girls' albums, and so I thought I needed to go ahead and document it for the other one. And so that's what I am doing here. I am using my Kit Conspiracy kit from this week, which is a lot of Pretty Little Studio products combined with some 49 and Market Spectrum, not Sherbert, Spectrum Gardenia. Sorry, it took me a minute there. I am using my Edge Distress tool from MK's shop, some assemblage required. That is going to give me some really good distressed edges on this paper, which I really like. I like that it has a little tiny border, but I also like the distressed edges. I think it looks really nice. And the nice thing about the distressed edges is you don't have to be super exact in your cutting, or as you saw there, I did piece one of the papers together because I didn't have enough in one big swatch, and you can't tell because of the distressing. It really hides a lot of it hides a lot of imperfection, I guess is the right word. So I do have this little paper of these stripes from Pretty Little Studio. These are from I think the Grateful Heart collection, and I am going to back my cut file with it. I did consider not backing my cut file, but because it's slightly overlapping the frames and such, I thought I will go ahead and back it because then I don't have any pieces of paper peeking through. And plus my background paper is just plain white. And so it needs something. It needs something more than just the white background. So anyway, I am purposefully picking out the colors that I want. I purposefully picked that darker purple to be the heart there, and then I'm trying to figure out how to get the blue across because it's not quite wide enough to go widthwise, and I'm going to have to kind of piece it together. So I'm going to go across vertically and use one of the lines that is created, one of the lines of the cut file to kind of hide the join. It wouldn't be very hard to probably hide it otherwise because the way the cut file is, or the background is, it has stripes already, so you could probably still hide it going vertically, but just for the ease of and the sake of getting it done, I was like, I'm not going to fight with this. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And I like the way that it ends up looking, and I don't mind that the stripes on one side go one direction and the other stripes on the other side of the camera go the other direction. I think it looks fine. I am going to cut out the center because I don't want the stripes in the center, and I will back that with some white paper with a little mixed media on it. I am going to be using my Distress Oxide inks to do a little bit on the background, but not down the center. My photos and my cut file are going to go right down the middle. And I am going to have my mixed media coming in from the outside edges, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of stencil work. So there are a lot of ways to actually back a cut file, you guys. I kind of go with a mix of ways. Sometimes I trace it and cut it out. Sometimes I just glue it on and then cut it out. It really just depends on what I'm backing and how many spots are already filled in. Sometimes when you have a lot of little spots, it is easier to trace it and cut it out and put it on there rather than to try to trim it out from the back once it's already on glued to the cut file. It just really depends. You can trace it from the top of the paper and cut it out. Trace the outside edges of the cut file, and then cut it out, and then you'll cut just inside of your lines that you've drawn. But a lot of times you can't, once you fill the section that is next to the portion that you're actually trying to back, you can't do that. So you have to trace inside, and then you want to trace it on the back of your paper and put your cut file upside down so that you still have the right shape in the right pattern that you're looking for. Hopefully that made sense. It doesn't really matter a ton with colored cardstock, but when you're using pattern paper and you're trying to get a specific pattern in your cut file, then it does matter. So lots of ways to do that. I am again using my distress tool to distress the inner edges of these strips that I have cut. So I'm cutting an L shape, and then I'm going to cut the next smaller size down of colored L shape in that paper, or corner, or whatever you want to call it, right angle. And I'm going to distress that. Also, that little round thing you saw me pushing around my desk, that is a desktop sweeper, which is fantastic for picking up all of the paper dandruff that my distress tool creates. And you can kind of see a pile of it there underneath my hand where I'm working when I move my hand away. And so my little vacuum does a really great job. And it was under like $15 on Amazon. I'll put a link for that down below. I've linked it up before, but I'll put the link down below, and just in case you guys are interested in that. So now I am just using the blue that is currently on my blue blending brush. I don't know really what color that is, but it's blue enough for me, and it's kind of just matching it to that blue strip on the right hand edge. And then I'm going to do the purple over on the left hand side. And again, I am just using the purple that is left over on my blending brush. I'm not really sure which purple that is. I don't clean my blending brushes frequently. I do clean them, just not frequently. And so I just find that using the color that's left over on them tends to work really well for these types of situations, especially since I don't use colored cardstock. My patterned paper, like the blue reads as blue, but there's a lot of different shades of blue in there, or a lot of different saturation levels of blue in there, and same with the purples. And so it kind of just ties it all together, and it works fine. I am using my ATG to adhere this down. If you wanted to use your like to stitch it on your sewing machine or something like that, you could also do that. I opted not to, just I don't know why, didn't even think about it. But if I was going to do that, I would just use a little liquid glue to hold my strips in place, and then I would run it through my sewing machine. I haven't actually sewn in a while, so I do need to think about that, adding some stitching to some of my layouts, or at least sewing stitches off of my sewing machines rather than just the stitching templates. I do love the texture that actually gives, but yeah, I don't know why I didn't think about it on this one. Okay, so I am kind of going with a little bit of a diagonal across my design that I've got going here, but I am going to balance out those frames with the ribbon that is required for the Iron Crafter Challenge. So I believe I have used the distress, the blending, and the cut file. I did the blending on the cut file. Also did some, I didn't really do ink blending through my stencil. I just used the ink that was left over. I guess I did a little bit of the blue through over the purple, but anyway, the ink blending was really just done on the cut file. And then I did add some of those ice cream cones to the back of my camera. opening, but you're not really going to see them once I get the title that just says cute, because they're looking awfully cute in these photos. This wasn't just an afternoon stop picking up the older one from school and surprising her with an ice cream outing, or surprising them with an ice cream outing. We don't do this super often, and so it was kind of a special occasion. And I don't pick them up from school very often. Actually, their parents pick them up from school. And so for me to be picking them up from school, that's already kind of like a special occasion in and of itself. Usually I am still with the little guy and he's still napping when they're getting picked up from school. So that's the way that works out, in case you were wondering why I don't pick them up from school. And it's always just been that way. We've always had one that was younger and sleeping and whatnot. I am placing these splats from Some Assemblage Required around. I am going to put my enamel dots in them as MK had suggested on her live when she shared this pack of splats. They have an opening in them, as you can see here, and so you can fit your enamel dots inside of them. She has some larger ones that you can kind of layer your flare up with. And then I am going to pull in a couple of extra dots to each one of these areas. I'm leaving the embellishing a little bit on the simple side, but I really like it and I think it looks really cute, as the title says there. And then I am going to come back in with some ribbon when all is said and done. It is a bit of an afterthought. I kind of forgot that Iron Crafter was this week. I don't know why in my head it was next week. But once I realized it was this week, I was like, oh, that's going to be really simple to add some ribbon or trim. I was going to say twine, but trim is what Tara over at the Paper Snob called for on this particular day. And so I pulled out this, I don't know what this is actually called. I'm not a sewing aficionado. Trim and stuff, I don't really know the name of what they are called, but it is a scalloped edge. I just put a little bit of glue in the areas where I knew I was going to be cutting it so that it wouldn't fray when I cut it on either side. Actually, I don't want it to fray on my leftover piece or on the piece that I am tucking in here. So I am just doing a tone on tone white. I love that because it's very simple. It adds a lot of texture, but it doesn't add color. And so I think it looks really good. I really like the way that it came out, and it was a great addition for this particular layout. I hope that you think so as well. The close-ups are coming up here in just a moment. I want to remind you to go and check out what MK has going on her channel today for Kit Conspiracy, as well as what Tara and everybody else playing along with the Iron Crafter has going on. All of the links are down below, and there are links to Mixed Media Mayhem as well, because there are a bunch of people playing along with Mixed Media Mayhem. There are also Facebook groups for Mixed Media Mayhem, and there's a link down below for that. There's a link for Kit Conspiracy, so you can go and check that out. And then you can join the Paper Snob Facebook group to find out more about Iron Crafter and a couple other hops that Tara hosts as well. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys again real soon. Bye-bye.